Hooray for Hollywood. Well, here's another fine mess you've got me in. Oh, hello there. I am Stan the Movie Man, and this is my weekly movie review. This week I went to see Bridge of Spies. It stars Tom Hanks, Mark Rylance, also Scott Shepherd, Amy Ryan, Austin Stowell, Jesse Plemons, and many, many more. It is the story, based on a true story, of a prisoner swap between the United States and the Soviet Union that involved a Russian spy captured in America, a guy named Rudolph Abel, played by Mark Rylance, and Francis Gary Powers, a U-2 pilot in the movie, played by Austin Stowell. Powers was shot down in his U-2 spy plane over the Soviet Union while he was there to take photographs, and and Abel was captured by the FBI and CIA while doing espionage work in the U.S. When Powers is captured, it becomes an opportunity for the Soviet Union and the United States to trade their spies. Now, James Donovan, played by Tom Hanks, is an insurance lawyer, but he has done some criminal work, and he is tasked by his company and by the federal government to what they think is put forth a kind of show of American fairness for this Russian spy, as Donovan is going to be Abel's attorney in the trial, in the espionage trial. But they don't really expect Donovan to take things very seriously with this, but he does what any good defense attorney does, and that is fight for his client. And the movie tells these two stories about Abel, with Donovan representing him, and Francis Gary Powers, captured in the Soviet Union, and how these two world powers are trying to make this swap without actually talking to each other. It is your basic Cold War story, but it is told in a terrific way by Tom Hanks and the rest of the cast, and Steven Spielberg as director. This is a subtle movie. There's not a whole lot of action going on, other than when Powers gets shot down, and there is a kind of an attempt to intimidate Donovan by putting some gunshots through his house. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of a rock'em sock'em kind of action going on in Bridge of Spies, and that is just fine. This movie is plenty tense and gripping without a bunch of shoot 'em ups or car chases. It is a terrific example of true storytelling, and that's something we don't get a whole lot of these days. Unfortunately, too many films depend on special effects, action, and fights and things of that nature in order to cover the weaker points of a story, and we saw that last week with Pan. But Bridge of Spies is not that. It is a terrific bit of fascinating history, probably padded with some heartwarming stuff to make us care more about the various characters. But it is a terrific film that is short on action, but very long on emotion, and you feel like there are some serious stakes involved in the story. Even though, if you know anything about history and the Cold War, you know how things turn out. But there is still some kind of tense moments that make you question whether or not this is going to follow history, if it's going to go off on its own way. It is such a good film. And I love that Tom Hanks is back to playing. Of course, he's made his living, his bones, his reputation on being this kind of quiet, everyman hero who is thrust into situations that are well beyond his experience, and he still manages to do the right thing. And there are so many times when he is told to do the wrong thing in this film, and he fights against that. It's such a good movie. It really should be considered when the time comes for awards. Um, it should do quite well in that regard. I really enjoyed it. Can't give it anything but 5 stars. Go to StanTheMovieMan.com to read my complete review. You can follow me on Twitter at MovieManStan, and you can also send me emails, StanTheMovieMan at Comcast.net. Till next time, toodles.